Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And the previous review I did was it's one of the worst ones I've seen. Definitely one of the worst I've seen this year. So now I figured I should review one of my favorite films of this year. Definitely one of my favorites. I had a lot of fun watching it. I was intrigued when I first saw the trailer, and I was surprised by the director especially. And the film was a hit overall. It was number one for 3 weeks in a row. Not row. And it is the action comedy film, The Hitman's Bodyguard. Stars Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson, which they're just so much fun together. I had a lot of fun watching these two on screen together. There was just so much fun in this film. And as for supporting cast, you got Gary Oldman, who's the main bad guy, and you got Salma Hayek. It was nice to see her in there as well. And another you have this woman. Pronounce her name. Plays Ryan Reynolds' ex-girlfriend in this. I think she's the one who plays Elektra in the Netflix of Daredevil, the Marvel TV show of Daredevil. I think she plays Elektra. I was never really intrigued by the Marvel Netflix shows, to be honest, though. Although I am intrigued about the Punisher one, though. But yeah. I had fun with this movie. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed. These two made the film work. They were just so much fun together. So much fun. I enjoyed the action sequences in this film. That was also really well done. And Patrick Hughes, who directed this film, really surprised me. It was like the complete opposite of what he did when he directed Expendables 3. It was just such a complete opposite, 180, When Expendables 3, most of the action was pretty much all the action was nothing. And although Mel Gibson, he was a good bad guy, though, but the film wasn't up to snuff. It was just such a bad sequel to me, though. It was just such a beyond disappointing sequel for Expendables 3. This guy, he just did a completely 180, and I don't know what happened with Expendables 3, though. It's just, when you get to look at this film, when he did this film, it's like night and day. Because this film is definitely is R-rated, is some good bloody shots. Not total. It's not all bodies blown to bits or guts and gore and all that though. But still get some blood stuff in there. It's definitely R-rated. Definitely so many F-bombs between the two of these, especially from Samuel L. Jackson. He says the word motherfucker a lot of times. TikTok motherfucker or whatever. I will bust a cap in your ass. What was that, please? Please, motherfucker! Or when Ryan Reynolds, when he said it's this guy single-handedly ruins the name, motherfucker. So yeah, this gets so many F-bombs in this film, which I had fun with between these two. I enjoy the humor between the two. They're so much fun. This has made the film really work, I enjoy the actions. And although the film came out, it was 3 weeks in a row at number one. Although made like 75 million domestically and a budget of 30 million, so it was a success. And worldwide, 176 million. Although people, of course, it's been given mixed. Though it has a 40% Rotten Tomatoes, although it has a 7.0 on IMDb. 40%. Disagree. Yeah, because it's they criticize the plot. It's typical plot, whatever. But I had fun with the movie, and when I was first intrigued by the trailer, especially when the first trailer came out, they played Whitney Houston's song from The Bodyguard, and they even did a parody poster of the Bodyguard. Because hey, it's the Hitman's Bodyguard. Take out Hitman, and it's the Bodyguard. I did like that. I did like that kind of parody, like the poster of it, like Ryan Reynolds carrying Sam Jackson, and in the trailer you had Whitney Houston's song "We'll Always Love You," from The Bodyguard. So I like that, and the overall paid off. I really enjoyed the movie. It's definitely one of my favorite films this year. I did see this with my brother and a few of his friends, so I really enjoyed the film. Um, I really agree. This big action, even bigger laughs, and mind blowing action, and furiously funny. I do agree with that. It is very funny. Um, so as the plot goes, not getting much into it. Like Ryan Reynolds, he's a bodyguard for like in the opening, he's taking this Japanese guy on the plane, and then all of a sudden when he's looking out the window, boom, shot in the head, and then like Ryan Reynolds, like his expression's like this, and we're always as sad. Then it's 2 years later, and now his whole career went down the toilets basically. And he gets this guy out. You get some good fisticuffs with Ryan Reynolds. He takes out some guys, but he doesn't kill him though. And then you got Samuel Jackson, who's a hitman named Darius Kincaid. Because Gary, it shows like Gary Oldman. He's like this dictator, and he's being brought to court for all the stuff that he did, like killing a whole village, which is part of the he killed people though, but they don't have physical evidence. But Kincaid, Samuel Jackson, has the stuff, so he agrees to go to court to testify unless they release his wife, played by Salma Hayek, from prison. And Salma Hayek, she's also very funny as well. She does like a lot of swearing, like more than she usually does, you know. Because when I got this DVD, I watched it with my mom because she was intrigued by these two here because she likes both of these guys, and she's like, Salma Hayek doesn't. She's like, even she didn't. She found it weird to hear Salma Hayek foul mouth a lot in this movie because she liked him in him. She liked her in the comedy with Matthew Perry. It was The Fools Rush In, or Rush Out, I think. The Fools Rush In. She liked her in that. Shoot, dropped the DVD. So, but yeah, she liked her in this though. But she just found it weird that hear her foul mouth like that a lot of times. So he agrees to testify as long as they release her from prison. And when he's being transferred, the unit gets ambushed. Everyone gets killed. You get some good blood stuff when people getting shot. And the girl who's Michael Bryce, that's Ryan Reynolds' character, his ex-girlfriend, they're the ones that get out, and Sam Jackson gets shot in the leg, and they get to a safe house. So figure out that someone on the inside, told them the bad guys where they are. So she calls in Ryan Reynolds, and when when Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson first see each other, they try to kill each other, try to shoot each other. Which they just play off each other so well. You know, you got with which I probably think he's still like Ryan Reynolds. He's still like kind of acting like Deadpool, like later, like when later in the movie when Samuel Jackson's being chased, or like when his trailer he goes, "God damn it!" I had to feel like that's some like his portrayal a little bit from Deadpool, you know. So, but they don't like each other. Like Samuel Jackson tried to kill him a couple of times from like a while from when every time they meet like years like a couple of years in the past, you know, and so, and when the bad guys are coming, the police are coming, like Sam Jackson, he's shooting people. Like Ryan Reynolds, he's trying not to kill him, but Sam Jackson doesn't care. So he just goes and kills people. And when they get on the roof and try to figure out how to get down, Sam Jackson just doesn't give a shit what Ryan Reynolds thinks. He just goes and jumps off and falls down in the dumpster. It's like, oh motherfucker. And you get this whole big journey because they go all from point A to point B all the way to the court for him to testify, which is like in Amsterdam. I think it was in Amsterdam. Yeah, I think it's somewhere in Amsterdam. So like for one point when they're driving and they're just like going at each other's throats verbally, just a lot of humor. It's fun. And then one point where as they're driving. They get to one part where the bad guys catch up. They shoot. Sam Jackson shoots some guys, and their car gets blown up. And so as the other car gets blown up, Sam Jackson's just laughing. And when they hitch a ride on a vehicle, and There was like, oh, Ryan Reynolds said like, "Fuck you and the horse you rode in on," and then there's like nuns like, oh, and then Sam Jackson's like, "Hey, John Bell," whatever he saying like the people, the ladies are liking him, and as they're traveling, they're all singing, and Sam Jackson's singing along with them, and Ryan was like, see, this is why I got so much fun out of this more than Alien Covenant, and that was no fun at all. That was no picnic at all. This I had a picnic time with. God. Because I got characters that I enjoy, I have fun with, I laugh at, and I enjoy their chemistry between each other. I got no chemistry with anybody in that movie. But I know the two different genres though. But still, as a film though, as film to film. But and then he shows a cuss with Salma Hayek. She's like cussing up a storm with authorities. Like there's this female prisoner inmate with her, and I guess like she's like so scared of Salma Hayek. She tells her because her back is turned to a corner. It's like, did I tell you to turn around? And it's like, okay, you can take a 5-minute break. Yeah, I guess she said because Salma Hayek is that intimidating. And then like with Samuel Jackson tells his story how he met his wife like at this bar where everybody's fighting and beating each other up, and Samuel Jackson's watching Salma Hayek like she can show she's a badass still. Which speaking of her, Salma Hayek being a badass, if there's anybody who watched Everly, that's a good movie with Salma Hayek. She was a badass in that movie, but that film doesn't get much of a pass. But with anybody, but I like Salma Hayek as an actress. She's a good actress, and that Everly, really good movie. And it shows like she can still be a badass. Like she's beating these guys up, and she's taking a broken bottle and like jams in one guy's armpit right here. I was like, ooh, and then another one right into a guy's neck. And as he tells her how she met her, and then later on Ryan Reynolds tells her how he met his girl at a bad guy's funeral, and how they bumped into each other, and you have that song playing, which has some good songs in the soundtrack of this film. Like what was one of the I wanna know without it. I want you to show me. That song. So that was a good song choice. And then one more where they're just being chased by a bad guy some more, like well, first they get to one part when they get to safety, like Ryan Reynolds' his own safe house, and Sam Jackson goes off to buy his wife flowers and leaves that in a position where a clock from a view from the prison window she's at, and she sees that and shows that he was there because she likes like tulips. Or there's even one point where when they're on the ferry boat, Sam Jackson explains that you find out that his father, when he was a kid, or a teenager, his father was brutally killed because his father was a preacher, and this guy kills him, and he gets revenge by shooting the one guy. Which that's when you find out that that was his father. So he's been like a hitman ever since then, and after dropping his flowers up to his wife, and then he spills that he's the one that shot that Japanese guy at the beginning 2 years back. He's the reason why he lost his job, Ryan Reynolds, because he'd been blaming it on his ex-girlfriend for what happened, which she had nothing to do. So Sam Jackson is like, after he explains what happened, what happened with that guy, he's like laughing. He spills that he did it, and then he punches him, and they both walk off. Ryan Reynolds just walks out, and it's like, "Eat my ass," and then it's like, "That's what she said." And then bad guys chase Samuel Jackson. You get a really good chase scene. That's when Ryan Reynolds was like explaining to the one guy at the bar, "Is like, I was up here," and he goes, "God damn it!" And you get a fun chasing where Sam Jackson is on a boat in this river, and Ryan Reynolds is chasing on a motorcycle. You get a fun action sequence, and it's very well shot, and like all the play of the country where they're in, and Ryan on the riverboat, and like one guy's got a bazooka, and Ryan Reynolds jumps in and diverts it away, and of course, like one quick scene in the trailer where Sam Jackson does like this and gives the middle finger, Um, and after he saves Sam Jackson, he like gives him like it's like the way where they're always they hate each other, but then they work together, they don't hate each other. And then Ryan Reynolds gets captured, like sort of getting tortured with these electrocution rods, and then Sam Jackson comes up and messes them up, and then they get chased some more of a good chase. And then we get another good chase scene where Samuel is dragged. Well, first though, they find another car, and when Ryan Reynolds calls his girl when to apologize for blaming everything on her, he flies through the windshield like in the trailer, and Sam's just like, Jesus Christ, really? What happened to the seatbelt rule? And then Ryan Reynolds he gets chased on foot while Sam Jackson he's driving. And he gets another good car chase where Sam Jackson he turns around, he shoots some guys and makes the car turn over. And with Ryan Reynolds to get a foot chase where, which I thought when he gets like this place where it has a grill, like a cooking place, like a small restaurant there with a grill. And when the song was playing, it's sort of like I was hearing a different, like the song, Home Alone, like Run, Run, Rudolph, Santa's gotta make it to town. Is that the same voice who sang that song was like a different version, had like the same different tone, the beat, but they didn't say Rudolph or anything like that, any Christmas related though. It was like the same type of song though, with the same voice. I forget who was the name of that though, but it sounded like just like that when Ryan Reynolds was at the cook. He's fighting these guys off, like supposed to give guys face on a grill, and he's being with the pans or a rolling pin or whatever. And he's chasing that one, the lead henchman, to this hardware store where he hits him with an axe that doesn't kill him. He shoots him with a dart, a nail gun in the head. Still doesn't do anything to the guy, and till he gets the guy on a chain, hooks a chain around him, tells the employee's like, "Give me the gun," and then slides it until he finally shoots him. And then they both arrive in court, where about when Gary Oldman was about to walk, because it'd be like about 5:00. And it was one thing. That's one thing. That's an issue I have. Is just one issue. Is like Gary Oldman. He's not in it that much though. Like you see him at the beginning. You see him a little bits. Like when he's being held until like waiting in court. Then you see him at court. Like you see him. One guy was talking to the guy who was at Interpol. That's the authorities name, the Interpol. The guy who was the insider who gave away Kincaid's position in the beginning. The agent who was a traitor. You see him, we'll talk with Gary Oldman. You see him, like Gary Oldman, like a little bit when they're at court before, then again at the court. So Gary Oldman, he was not in it that much though, but it's nice to see. It's nice to see him because I enjoy Gary Oldman as an actor. He's been able to play good bad guys like The Fifth Element or Air Force One. I love him in that movie. But still, it was nice to see Gary Oldman as well. But I wish he was in it more though. But it was nice to see him regardless though, even though he was in it little bits and much less so, even though he's the main villain. But it was still cool to see him though. So they get there, like they're both like exhausted though, but Kincaid, he tells him that he does reveal that when he was a kid, his father, the preacher his father was killed. Spills it and gives him the evidence about Gary Oldman. Shows these pictures how he's killed this people in a village. Like for a moment in the final moment where he gives him the password. It's like, I forget what Gary Oldman's character was. His name of his character is like something is a dig and like all caps like that. So it shows him the evidence. And Gary Oldman has a backup plan. He gets his truck to lunge for to bomb the court so he can escape. Then he's about to shoot Sam Jackson, but Ryan Reynolds jumps in and takes the bullet. And then Sam Jackson goes after Gary Oldman. He kills a couple of guys, blows up this helicopter that's behind, falls on the roof. And Gary Oldman, It's like, if you kill me, you'll never, you'll just be who you are. You'll never be forgiven. Forget the lines was for your sins, and you'll always be who you are. And then Sam Jackson just goes and laughs at him. He goes and laughs at him and is like, but you know what? You never should have shot my bodyguard. And Gary's like, what? He goes and kicks his ass off the roof and lands on a car. And Ryan Reynolds, he's gonna be fine. They get the brief moment where his ex-girlfriend beats that guy up who was the agent who was the traitor. And Sam Jackson, he gets arrested again. But then he finds that he breaks out of prison to be with his wife at that same bar we first met, where everybody's still beating each other up because it's to be there for their anniversary. While their song is playing, I like how you know how Looney Tunes where cameras it zooms in on them, before it blacks out, but it shows like a heart shape closing in on them. So. But yeah, and I think the Ryan Reynolds and his girlfriend, they're back together, so everyone's happy ending. So I didn't go through everything step by step though, because it would take too long from what location they're going to and all that stuff. But still, I enjoyed the movie. I had a lot of fun with this film. It is a good action comedy. These two are the shining stars of the film. They play with each other very well. They're funny together. They have great chemistry together. I just laugh at them when they're together. It was just great to see these together. They're such a fun action duo together in both the comedies and action. It was a great pair. That's why I was intrigued by when I saw the trailer when I saw these two together. It is worth definitely where they are rating, but how they both foul mouth each other. It just. I had a lot of fun with this film. They just definitely were such fun together. But like I said, Gary Oldman, it was nice to see him though. I wish I would have saw more of him though. Salma Hayek, she was fun too, foul mouth as well. But it was nice to see her too. Even though the film showed her being a badass, beating these guys up with a broken beer glass, stabbing one here and one there, and when Sam just looking at her, it's like, the woman who played Ryan Reynolds' ex, I thought she was fine too. I don't think she was not that bad. Although I haven't seen. Oh no, actually, because my brother, I watched a couple of things with my brother, but I wasn't really the big fan of. Even though I like the Marvel films, so I just haven't been that big a fan of the Netflix shows. Although I am interested about the Punisher show though, because the Punisher, I'm a fan of the Punisher. But although the supporting cast was good as well, but it was just these two were just the shining stars. They were just so much fun together. And let's say Patrick Hughes, he surprised me. It's like he just did a complete 180 from when he did Expendables 3. It's like night and day, It's just what happened. When he did this film? What happened when he didn't just do something like this with Expendables 3? It's like Two-Faced. He's Two-Faced, Expendables 3, not funny, lackluster action. This film, R-rated, fun, foul-mouthed, and good action. It's like he's Two-Faced, Oh well. But he did a good job with this film. Really did. And it's definitely It's definitely well paced. It's 118 minutes, but it's definitely well paced as well. Fast paced. I wasn't bored at all. It wasn't slow at all. It's definitely one. And also with the feature, it has a director's commentary and a big action and a big world featurette. So all that's for features, but it's definitely had a lot of fun with the film. It's definitely being my top 10 favorite films of this year. I think I'd put it make it 11, I think, but top 10 though. But it's definitely one of my favorite films this year. It's a lot better than Alien Covenant by miles. Better action, better characters, and better humor. I mean, nobody doing stupid stuff like in Alien Covenant. Just pissed me off though, but so yeah. But if anyone hasn't seen The Hitman's Bodyguard, I recommend you checking it out. If anyone who are big fans of these actors, definitely recommend it. They're just so much fun together. I loved the banter between the two of these guys. I just loved it. But yeah, I didn't get much to detail though. But people check it out. I would recommend it. So definitely 2 thumbs up for me. And I'm glad the film did do well. It's just sometimes there are films that flop that has big name stars though, but this work paid off at the end. Definitely was worth a hit because probably people saw when they first heard that these two are starting together, they think, okay, we'll go see that. So the film paid off at the end. So, but yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite films this year. I enjoy The Hitman's Bodyguard, loved it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.